Rain slammed the empty city street in heavy, unrelenting sheets, turning gutters into rushing rivers. Headlights glowed weakly through the downpour as a sleek black sedan crawled to a steaming stop by the curb. Inside, the CEO swore under his breath, slamming a palm on the wheel. The windshield wipers slapped back and forth uselessly, streaking the view with water. Steam billowed from under the hood. He glanced at his watch, cursed again. Late. Important meeting ruined. Outside, the wind howled, sending rain lashing sideways. In the shadows of a broken street lamp, a figure stirred. A woman hunched in a threadbare denim jacket, hair plastered to her face, watched the car with guarded eyes. She hefted a battered metal toolbox in one hand, its rusted latches clanking. Water dripped from the brim of her cap as she approached slowly, boots splashing in filthy puddles. Inside, the CEO checked his phone. No signal. He hit the dash. When he glanced up, she was at his window, knocking lightly. He jumped, scowling. The glass slid down with an electric whine, rain immediately blowing in. He recoiled. She didn't smile. "Engine trouble," she called. Over the roar of the storm, voice flat. He looked her over. Mud-smeared jeans, cracked boots, grease under her fingernails even in this weather. "Who the hell are you?" he snapped. She didn't flinch. "Someone who can fix it? Or you can wait all night for a tow that won't come." Lightning flashed, illuminating her gaunt face and sharp eyes. He hesitated, glancing at the steam. Growling, he hit the hood release. She set down her toolbox with a heavy thud, flipped the hood open with practiced force. Steam and heat poured out, mixing with the freezing rain. She leaned in, sleeves soaked instantly, wrench in hand, studying the engine like an old friend. He watched her from inside, fingers drumming the steering wheel, irritation fighting curiosity. She worked quickly despite the storm, muttering to herself, metal tools clanking as she adjusted a loose clamp and twisted a valve shut. Sparks jumped. She didn't even blink, just kept going. Finally, she slammed the hood shut with a solid clang and wiped water from her eyes. She knocked on his window again, hair dripping. "Try it now," she said simply. He turned the key. The engine roared to life. For a second, silence fell. Only the rain spoke, hissing on the roof. She exhaled breath, misting in the cold. Without waiting for thanks, she bent down, picked up her toolbox, and turned to go. The downpour swallowing her shape in the distance as the luxury car idled, ready to move again. Her leg with each step. Water streamed off her cap, soaking her collar and chilling her to the bone. Behind her, the sedan's engine purred smoothly, headlights cutting through the storm. She didn't look back, only tightened her grip on the rusty handle, breath ragged from cold and exhaustion. "Hey," his voice rang out, muffled by the rain. She paused, shoulders stiff. The CEO pushed the door open, stepping out with an umbrella. Snapping in the wind, he strode toward her, shoes splashing through puddles. She turned, slightly, wary eyes narrowing. He stopped a few feet away, rain drumming loudly on the umbrella. With his free hand, he pulled out a sleek leather wallet and held out a crisp stack of bills. "Here, for your services." His voice was curt, guarded. She glanced at the money but didn't move to take it. Her jaw tightened. "I don't." "Want it?" she said flatly. He blinked, water dripping from his hair despite the umbrella. "What? Don't be ridiculous. Take it." She shook her head, raindrops flying. "Didn't do it for you. Just didn't want anyone stranded in this." Her voice cracked a little on the last word. His brow furrowed, anger shifting to confusion. For the first time, he really looked at her, the frayed clothes, the sunken cheeks, the way she shivered but tried to hide it. She turned fully, her back to him now, trudging into the dark street, boots squelching in the mud. The toolbox seemed impossibly heavy in her raw, blistered hands. He stood there in the rain, money hanging limply in his outstretched hand, watching her shape fade into the storm, unease creeping into his chest in a way he couldn't explain. He stood there, frozen in the downpour, the stack of bills still in his hand, slowly getting soaked. Something inside him shifted as he watched her disappear into the curtain of rain. This wasn't about money anymore. She had refused it not out of pride, but from something deeper, something broken. Asterisk, he jogged forward a few steps. Umbrella tilted awkwardly in one hand, the other still clutching the useless cash. "Wait," he called out over the storm. "Hey, just stop a second." Asterisk, she didn't stop. The sound of her boots splashing through puddles echoed faintly until finally she paused under a flickering streetlight. Her back still turned, shoulders slumped. She didn't say a word. Asterisk, he approached slowly, chest heaving slightly from the run, water dripping from his suit jacket, now clinging to his frame. "Look, I don't get it," he said, voice softer now. "Why help me if you didn't want anything in return?" Asterisk, she turned her head just enough to glance at him from the side. Her face looked tired, older than it should for her age. "Because I've been there," she said quietly, "broken down in more ways than one, and no one ever stopped for me." Asterisk, that hit him in a place he didn't know existed. For a moment, he just stood there watching her, the rain streaking across both of their faces. Asterisk, "Do you have anywhere to go?" he asked, hesitating. The words felt strange coming from someone used to boardrooms and contracts. Asterisk, she gave a bitter half-smile and shook her head. "Just the shelter. If there's space?" Asterisk, he looked down at the wet bills in his hand, then back up at her. "Come back with me," he said finally. "Not like that, just I think I know someone who can help. Someone who should have noticed you before now." Asterisk, she stared at him for a long moment, as if trying to decide if this was another game, another pity offer. Then, slowly, she nodded. Not in agreement, just that she'd listen. For now, Asterisk, the rain slowed to a steady drizzle as they walked back toward his car, the harsh thunder fading into distant rumbles. She moved carefully beside him, toolbox in one hand, the other shoved deep into her damp pocket. He held the umbrella over them both, but it did little to keep them dry. Water still ran in rivulets down their faces, soaking their clothes. Asterisk, he glanced at her from the corner of his eye. She was staring straight ahead, jaw tight, refusing to meet his gaze. He cleared his throat. Asterisk, "You always work like that, in the middle of a storm?" Asterisk, she shrugged without looking at him. "Work's work. Nobody else will touch a car in that mess." Asterisk, he shook his head, a humorless laugh escaping. "You shouldn't have to." Asterisk, she stopped walking, boots splashing in a puddle. Finally, she turned to face him. Her eyes were shadowed, the dark circles beneath them visible even in the dim streetlight. "Yeah, tell that to the guys who wouldn't hire me because I don't have an address. Or the shop owners who didn't want a woman out front." Asterisk, he fell silent, shame tightening his throat. She took a slow breath, glancing at the ground. Asterisk, "I had a place once," she added quietly. "Had my own little shop. Mom got sick, bills piled up, sold everything to pay the hospital." She swallowed hard, voice cracking, still lost her. Lost it all. Asterisk, he listened, the rain hissing around them, droplets spattering on the umbrella. For the first time all night, he really saw her not as some muddy street mechanic, but as a person who'd given everything and gotten nothing back. Asterisk, she scrubbed a hand across her wet face, as if wiping away tears mixed with rain. "Look, don't pity me. I don't need it. I'm not some charity case." Asterisk, he shook his head, voice low and serious. "That's not what this is." She raised her eyes, guarded but curious. He drew in a breath. "You're better at fixing cars than half the guys at my company. I'm not offering you a handout. I'm offering you a job, a real one." Asterisk, her mouth fell open slightly. She blinked hard. "What?" Asterisk, "A job," he repeated. "On my fleet team, benefits. Regular pay, somewhere to stay until you can sort things out." Asterisk, she laughed once, harsh and disbelieving. "You don't even know me." Asterisk, he smiled faintly, "for the first time all night. You fixed my car in a thunderstorm without asking for a cent. I think that tells me more than any resume ever could." Asterisk, for a long moment, she didn't speak, just watched him, rain dripping off her nose and chin. Then her fingers tightened around her toolbox handle, her shoulders slumped with exhaustion and something that looked a lot like relief. Asterisk, "Okay," she whispered. "Okay." He held out the umbrella a little higher, so they both fit under it better. And together, they walked back to the waiting car, the headlights a promise of something better than the dark behind them. Asterisk, they stood there in the dying rain, both breathing hard from the argument that had fizzled into confessions neither planned to make. The street was quiet now, except for the drip of water from rooftops and the soft splashing of puddles under their feet. She kept her eyes low, hair plastered to her cheeks, breathing uneven. He didn't move closer, but held the umbrella steady. Between them, his expensive shoes were ruined. His suit was soaked, but he didn't seem to care. He swallowed hard, watching her try to blink away the wetness in her eyes. That wasn't only rain. You know, he said gently, voice low so it wouldn't echo off the empty storefronts. You didn't have to stop tonight. You could have ignored me. She let out a sharp, humorless sound that might have been a laugh. Yeah, could have, should have. But you didn't. She shifted the toolbox in her hand, jaw working. I know what it feels like to be stranded. Her voice cracked at the word.